Hello everyone, Dragon Wolf here, and today I'm going to be going over a guide for Guardians. Now Guardians are very important parts of the team, especially in Conquest, because they're very necessary for taking objectives like Gold Fury and Fire Giant. And they're just your main line of defense. They're one of your frontliners. And they're just there to help the team stay alive. They can do a lot of things. They can have a lot of CC, just tank a lot of damage, or some of them can even do a lot of damage. So we'll take a look at all the Guardians and the main build that you should use for playing support. First off, we're going to start with the build. Now start off, this is for Conquest of course. You want to either start off with Mark of the Vanguard or Watcher's Gift. Now they're both personal opinion. They're both really good. I prefer Watcher's Gift, but I'll get a quick overview of both of them. Mark of the Vanguard, you're gonna take less damage. I think it decreases all damage density by like 5, which might not seem like a lot, but when you think of all the little things in you, like minions, taking 5 damage off of the minions in you, that's a lot of damage taken off. If the enemy team has an Ares in the lane, he hits you with the chain. The chain's gonna be doing a lot less damage to you because of it. It's gonna give you some extra health too. It's gonna make you a little bit tankier at the start. It's a pretty good item. You mainly want to use it if you're going to be playing really aggressively. I mean, if you're playing someone like Amir or Ares, you should probably get, because your main goal at the beginning is try to be really aggressive on the enemy team, try to force them out, or even attempt to kill them. Now the other one is going to be Watcher's Gift. It's a much more passive style starter item. You're going to get the extra gold bonus from the minions pretty much anywhere in lane or even in the jungle. It's going to be good if you're playing more of a later game support, or if you're just content on just farming up, not really worried about playing aggressive. I know not everybody's playstyle is to be aggressive. If you're planning on staying in a lane somewhere, soaking up experience, gold, or just helping your jungler take the camps, then I would suggest Watcher's Gift. It also got buffed recently for Xbox. It finally got the buff where it gives you extra mana, mana regeneration. It's pretty good now. It's what I prefer to use, but they're both really good. Just certain situations, you might want one or the other, but you can't go wrong with either one. And then after you buy a start item, you want to get Hand the Gods 1. You have to have Hand the Gods 1 no matter what. If you don't have one, you're not playing support. And if you're playing support and you don't buy one, then I don't know what you're doing. Your team hates you. I kind of hate you. You're just no. Please buy Hand the Gods. Everybody's gonna love you if you buy Hand the Gods. I won't really actually hate you, but I might make fun of you a little bit. Then after that, you got some room for consumables. I like to buy 5 health and mana potions. That might seem like a bit much to some, but I play super aggressive and I kind of need them. You could buy some health potions and some the mixed potions. I can't remember what they're called, but the ones that give you both health and mana regeneration, or health and mana back. You can start off buying wards to ward the enemy jungle. You can try to get side of their camps, so when they take them at the beginning. Either way, it's personal opinion. Just make sure you get one of the starter items, hand 1, and then the potions or wards are up to you. Just do not buy boots or anything like that. Do not start off with anything like that. You're better off just getting potions. They'll help you stay alive, stay in lane, get farm, because you're going to fall behind in farm. That's just how it goes for supports. That's just how supports play. Unless you're Ares. Ares can kill people very quickly because it's Ares. Now to start off, when you go back to base first time, you got 2 choices. You either buy the cooldown reduction boots. That's the basic choice. Cooldown reduction boots are very good on supports. You want to try to get your abilities off as many times as you can, and hey, cooldown reduction boots, that does it for you. But say the other team has about 3 or 4 people with slows on the team, and you're playing someone like Amir or Sylvanas, and you get slowed. What's going to happen to you? You're going to die. There's no other way around it. Dead. So, if they have 3 or 4 slows, or they just have a certain god, just one god on their team. If they have a certain god that you may know named Nemesis, if they have a Nemesis or 3 or 4 slows, buy Wingblade. Please. It'll keep you alive. It's going to give you cooldown reduction, movement speed, extra health, awesome passive that say screw you slows, I don't care. I mean, that Nemesis will probably give you a strange look after she hits you one of her slows and you just take off running. Yeah, she's not going to be very happy. It's good. It also gives you attack speed. That doesn't matter. Except maybe Amir or Sylvanas. I guess not the rarest thing, but attack speed. But if you start with Wingblade, only get boots 1. Do not finish your boots. You're going to have a hard time getting gold a lot of the time. So it's not worth it finishing your boots. You're going to get enough movement speed from boots 1 and Wingblade. After you finish your boots or you get Wingblade and boots 1, finish your Hand of the Gods. You wanna aim to try to get Gold Fury around the 9-minute mark at least. That's when you want to start thinking with your team about getting Gold Fury and trying to set up Gold Fury. Because if you can get your Hand of the Gods 3 or Wrath of the Gods and the enemy team doesn't have one, they're not going to be able to contest you. Because you can just execute the Gold Fury at, I don't remember how much health it is. It's whenever it gets in yellow, the health bar. I'm really bad at this because I don't play a whole lot of support. No, but it's at 25%. Okay, that's what I thought. After you build Wrath of the Gods, you want to get Sovereignty. Sovereignty is going to give you a lot of defense, going to give you some health, going to give you health regeneration, but most importantly, it's going to give your team magical protection and health regeneration. A lot of time when you get Sovereignty first, because you're going to a lot of times go to mid lane. That's where you're going to soak up a lot of your farm. You're going to take it from your mid laner. You want to try to let your hunter get solo farm so they can get, big, strong. They need that crit. They're going to get awesome. They're going to do damage. But you still need to rotate over there every now and then. You got to babysit them. I mean, those hunters always got to be babysitted. After you get Sovereignty, you get Hardware Amulet. It's a lot like Sovereignty, except it's the opposite. It's going to give you magical protection. And it's going to give your team physical protection and some mana regeneration. Very good item. Definitely want to get Sovereignty before you get Heartward, though. Sovereignty is super awesome. Heartward is just very awesome. So, both very good. Have to build those. If you do not build those two, then you're not playing support. And also your team's going to hate you. After that, if you don't get boots, well, if you don't get the Wingblade, I mean, sometimes I see people going to the Wingblade right after, and that's fine. You can build a Wingblade right after. Wingblade is a very good item. Supports. It just gives you a lot of stats that supports need. It's a very good item. By the way, if you don't want Wingblade or you already have Wingblade, get Magi's Blessing. You need Magi's Blessing to contest objectives and to steal them. Because if you don't have Magi's Blessing, because you're not going to buy beads as support. You don't have Magi's Blessing, you're going to run in there and try to steal the objective. Emir or Athena is just going to CC you. You're going to look like an idiot. They're going to kill you, and they're going to take the objective and take a free kill on you. And your team's going to laugh at you. And they're not going to love you anymore. So buy Magi's. It's very necessary for stealing objectives. Then, you got a couple different options. If you want to go to some damage, if you're playing someone like Gab, Athena, maybe Amir, this probably be good on Sobek. Good for Bacchus. Get Soul Reaver. It's gonna give you a lot of extra damage. I don't like Soul Reaver that much as an item, but for Guardians, and this is your only real damage item, it's very good. It's very good for doing damage. It's going to chunk a percentage of the health. Especially with Gab, whose ultimate already chunks a percentage of the health. It's just going to do a lot more. It's a very good item. I suggested on those gods. With suggested on the Guardians with a lot of like high burst damaging abilities. And then we have Void Stone that will also give you more protection, give you some extra damage, a little bit of damage, but it also gives you penetration. But it doesn't only give you penetration, it's an aura. It's going to give your mages extra penetration, which they need because there's not many good magic penetration items. So your mage, your mid laner will love you. And, well, it's pretty good. I mean, if you get it on Ares, it's going to give you even more damage because of its passive. Voice Rune is really good. That's going to be your choice for damage if you're not playing a guy with a high burst damage skill to take Soul Reaver. Now, some other choices that I didn't have on here for items. You can get, if you're playing Sylvanas, buy a Lotus Crown right after you finish Heartward Amulet before you get Magi's. Lotus Crown's very powerful. Whenever you heal your teammates, they're going to get extra protections for both physical and magic. So they're going to get extra protections and they're going to be healed. It's just great. The enemy team has a bunch of healing. Buy Pestilence. It's going to reduce their healing. It's very good. Does the enemy team have a bunch of basic attack gods? Do they have a Kali? A really good hunter like Xbalanque? Do they have a Kronos too? Or Freya? Are they just going crazy with basic attacks? Then these are some good items to get too, like Witchblade. It's going to reduce attack speed and their power. I mean, you would not want to get this against magic because it only reduces physical power, but still a pretty good item. I don't like hide the enemy line that much, but it has its uses. It's going to reflect basic attack damage back. It's not bad. But my main choice, if they have a lot of basic attack gods, get Guardian Mill. It's very powerful. It's going to put attack speed and movement speed slow on them. It's super good. It's crazy good. It's very good. And it's just, it's an option to consider. Some other items. Stone of Gaia, it's okay on Guardians. It's not my favorite on Guardians, even though Stone of Gaia is one of my favorite items in the game, but it has its uses. Breastplate of Valor, I don't think it's really worth it on Guardians when you could just build Ring Blade instead. It's going to give you cooldown reduction, and Ring Blade will give you much better stats that you need. No. There's not really much else. You get Bulwark of Hope, but once again, I don't really recommend it. Mainly for your last item, it's going to be more situational, just depending on what your team needs. I mean, most of these items will work just fine for you, but it just depends what they need, what your team needs. And then for actives, of course, you're going to get Wrath of the Gods. Do not get Fist of the Gods. Please, whatever you do not get Fist of the Gods. If you do, once again, your teammates are going to hate you, and they're going to laugh at you, and probably say some very, very bad things about you. And I don't want them to do that to you. So, you got another choice. First off, I'm going to go start over here, because there are certain gods that you just won't blink on. Someone like Sylvanas needs blink. Geb, he needs blink. Amir needs blink. Ares needs blink. You're playing with those gods, get blink. You need blink in. That's the only way they have to initiate. They don't really have a good way to get in, especially to try to steal objectives like Gold Fury and Fire Giant. This is going to be the best bet, and it's just a very good item. It's a very good initiation. But you're not playing one though. You're playing something like, I don't know, Athena, or even Geb. You can get away with not getting blink on Geb, even though I think you should. But you're playing someone like, or Bacchus. These are some of the other items you can consider. Heavenly Agility is good, especially if you have another healer on your team like Raw or somebody. Put that, just activate it. It's going to increase healing. It's going to make everyone on your team fast. You're just going to run over everybody. You're going to kill them all. Your team's going to be laughing. They're all going to be crying. You're just going to be moving like a bunch of maniacs. It's a good time. Very fun time. And your team's going to love you. Does the enemy team have a bunch of healing? Does they have an Afro, a Raw? I don't know. Arachne, she can heal herself. Bologna. Don't get started on Bologna. Anybody with a lot of healing. Any team with a bunch of healing on their team, just get Weakening Curse. It's going to completely eliminate all their healing. And they're going to sit there and try to heal, and you're just going to laugh at them and be like, I don't know why you're trying to heal. It's a good time. It's going to make them feel stupid. And once again, your teammates are going to love you. And if you really want your teammates to love you, if you don't need blink, buy Shell of Absorption. It's your best choice for actives. It's going to make your team super tanky when you activate it. And I mean, the only good thing about team fights So your team's all still alive and their team's all dead. By shell absorption. It's really good. But these other two are still good in certain situations. But generally you want to buy shell absorption. And then for consumables, always buy wards and sentry wards. You don't have to buy sentry wards as much. They're a little more expensive and you can only buy one at a time. But you want to especially use them around objectives because you want to de-ward their wards. I mean, if they have wards set up at Fire Giant, well, just put it down, destroy it, then you have vision of it. I see a lot of people right now are not buying wards, and you should. Because the best way to win Conquest is to have vision of the map, and the only way to have vision of the map is with wards. Because if you have map vision, you have map control. And that's how you win games. That's the main thing with Guardians or supports in general. Now I'm going to go over the gods that can play support, which will be more than just Guardians, and I'll mention some of their other items when I get to them. But first, let's start with the supports. Let's start with Ares. Ares is a very high damaging support. You want to get ahead with Ares. If you fall behind with Ares, he's going to be completely useless. You're going to do absolutely nothing. He's not good at stealing objectives. He's not going to do that much damage because he's far behind. His ultimate's not going to do much because eventually everybody's just going to buy beads. I mean, it's not very good from behind. But if you can get a couple kills early, get ahead. Ares can just kill people by himself. He doesn't care. It's Ares. He's the god of war, and he's going to start a war. He's going to kill everybody, and he's actually a lot of fun. You might want to max out your 1, your 3. Do not max out your 2 until you have no choice but to take it. You want to max out your 1 first. Your chain's doing an insane amount of damage. Then you want to max out your 3. I would probably even suggest getting your 1 and 3 maxed out before you take any more points in your ultimate. Just get 1 point in your ultimate, max out your 1 and 3, have a good time with it, and then put whatever points you missed on your ultimate in there, and then get your 2. But I highly suggest Ares. He's one of my if not favorite supports. I love Ares. He's a good time. Now Athena is one of the best supports in the game right now. She has a very amazing ability in taunt. She has a global ultimate which she can get anywhere. She can just destroy people with no stop sending me invites. I don't want to play right now. Her ultimate does a lot of damage if the person you're teleporting to stays close to them. And while you're channeling your ultimate to jump to them, the person you're ulting to takes half damage. They get a 50% reduction in damage. It's very good, very powerful. It can completely change the fight. Your 3 does a pretty good bit of damage. Your 1 is a dash that slows them. It has a charge up time, and it can be interrupted if someone hits you with the CC effect. So it's kind of annoying there, but it's very powerful. 3 hurts a lot. Taunt is just amazing. Very good. Now Bacchus is a very good support. He got buffed recently, so now he gains a lot more in his meter when he drinks. That was always the big downfall of Bacchus. Early was he used up way too much mana just trying to fill up his meter. But now it's not as much of a problem. He still requires a lot of mana early, but it's nowhere near as much. He's a very good support early. He has probably the best objective steal in the game for supports. And his ultimate is one of the best for CC. And it just does an insane amount of burst damage. It hurts a lot. You could chunk people easily, especially if they're someone like Loki or just someone squishy in general. But it also puts them in a drunken state, and they can't stop moving. They keep stumbling around. Their camel's shaking. They're not moving straight. It's hard for them to aim their basic attacks. They're going to look like an idiot trying to shoot at you. And it's a really awesome combination with Xbalanque. Because everybody knows Xbalanque's ultimate, if they're moving when it ends, it stuns them. And if Bacchus ultis them, they can't stop moving. So that's a guaranteed stun. It lasts 8 seconds. It's crazy powerful. Bacchus is very good. Something else with Athena I forgot. A good combination with her is Medusa, because when you taunt, they have to look at you, and nobody wants to look at Medusa when she's ulting because it's not a good time for anybody. Now, I'm going to skip over Cabrakan. Don't play Cabrakan support. If you do, we're all going to laugh at you. and nobody's gonna like you. Bracken cannot play. It should not be play support. He has guardian stats, but more of an assassin type kit. He just does not go well with support. Next off, we have Geb. Geb's a very powerful support right now, and he will always be a very powerful support, no matter how much he gets nerfed, because of one reason: his shield. His shield is super powerful. He's not very good early game, but he's the best support late game. I mean, his shield can completely change a team fight, and especially if you have someone that's a hyper carry in your team, someone like a Kali, Freya. I mean, especially with Kali. Kali has a stun, a jump. Her ultimate makes it where she can't die. And if you just add a shield to that, Kali's just gonna tear through people. She's not gonna worry about dying one bit. Geb is great. It's awesome. He's very mobile with this one. He has a knock-up on his 2, which is very good for stealing objectives. His ultimate is also good with stealing objectives, and it chunks health. Geb's just very good. You should play Geb. Geb's fun. Hades. Just like a Bracken, do not play him support. He should be built as a bruiser. And we'll go over Hades a lot more later. But don't play Hades support. It's not good. Your team will also hate you if you do that. Kumba recently got a buff in this patch on PC, not on PC, but on Xbox. He also recently is getting a patch on PC too. But Kumba is underestimated, I think. He doesn't get played much, and I think he's actually very good support. I don't think he's as good as Athena, Geb, or Sylvanas, or even Bacchus. But he's very good. He has his uses. If your team needs some setup, like if your team has a Kukulkan playing mid, Kukulkan's ultimate can completely change a team fight, just depending on if he misses it or hits it. It's a very hard ultimate to hit. Also, someone else will like Scylla. Scylla needs some setup on her ultimate because it's hard to hit raw also. And there's no one better at this game at setting up for abilities than Kumba. He has a Mesmerize. He has a Root. He has a knock-up with his ultimate. That super duper awesome ultimate Uppercut of Doom. He does a pretty good bit of damage. He's got decent lane clear, especially after he gets his 1 leveled up with this Belly Charge or whatever it is. It's pretty good. And it's also so satisfying when you snipe someone with a minion with your Belly Charge. But yeah, Kumba very good. Should play him. His passive is really annoying to deal with because when he dies, he goes into a sleeping state and the enemy team has to hit him with a certain amount of basic attacks. Which is not very easy to do in the middle of a team fight because if they don't kill him, he's going back up with 35% of his health, or I'm pretty sure it's 35% or something like that. And he's just going to run back in there and CC you to death again. And your team's probably going to lose the team fight. So be wary of Kumba. And if you have a Kumba on your team and he goes down, just stand in front of him. Just body block for him. Your Kumba will love you, and he might pay it back for you. He might pay it back to you later in the game. So yeah, I highly recommend Kumba. He's very underrated. Not played a lot, and he should be played a lot more. Now Sobek used to be one of the best supports in the game. Now he's played more as a solo god, but he still can be played as a support. He has this one which can toss people back. It's pretty good. They try, if the enemy team is underneath, she does her backflip. Sobek has the best counter to Neith's backflip because it's very easy to telegraph, and you just dash, throw her back to your teammates. She's probably gonna die because she has no more escapes. After you toss someone back, you can hit your 2. That's gonna knock them up slightly and back. It's very good. If you have an Aurelix on your team, you can hit them with it, and Aurelix can ulti them with it. It's a very good combo. His 3 is very good against healers because it reduces their healing, and it also heals you. And his ultimate is it's great. It has a slow on it. It gains you a bunch of mana back while you're under the water, and it just does a lot of damage. It's also an ability like Amir's, which I'll talk about in a minute, where you can cancel it early. It'll deal less damage, but at least you'll get it off to deal damage. It's very good. You can even use it just to get mana back if you need to, because if you don't have any mana to do anything with Sobek, then you're kind of useless. And that's the main problem with Sobek right now, is he doesn't have a whole lot of mana, and he uses a lot of mana on his abilities. That's kind of the downfall of Sobek right now. But he's still very good. Just not played support very much. Mostly played as solo now. Now Sylvanas, at this point in time for Xbox, is undoubtedly the best support in the game. If you play Sylvanas, you get attack speed buff at the beginning, you won your lane. Good job. You did absolutely nothing to win your lane, because no one can outpush Sylvanas. Except for another Sylvanas. But that's not really outpushing, that's just tying. So, hey, any hunters out there? If you want to play Apollo again, just have a Sylvanas as your support, and you can play Apollo, because Apollo has no lane clear, and Sylvanas has all the lane clear. But other than that, seriously though, his one is a root, which you can also place down. It'll give mana regeneration to anyone standing in it if it didn't hit an enemy god. It's very, It's very good to take early game, as in the very first skill of the game. I was burping. Sorry. It's very good to take at the beginning of the game. You can throw one down behind your behind your team's mid laners. I don't know why this is so hard for me to say. You can drop it down behind your mid laner's first tier tower. So when your mid laner runs out of mana, they can go back to tower, and they can just get their mana back from it. Your 2 is a heal, and it also damages enemy gods. It used to also affect minions, but it does not affect minions anymore. That was completely way too overpowered. His 3 is a pull, just like Arachne's ultimate used to be when it was old Arachne. It's really hard to hit, but if you hit someone with it and then root them, then that's a good time right there waiting to happen after you pull them in, because they're pretty screwed after that happens. And then his ultimate, it's a big AoE around him, knock him up, very good for stealing objectives, puts a dot on them. The dot lasts a while and deals a pretty good bit of damage. So honest, very good. He falls off a little bit late game compared to someone like Gab, and he's also very slow. Bing Blade's very good on him. He can be picked off very easily. But Sylvanas, very good support. You should learn how to play him if you like playing support. Last one. This one has a special place in my heart, Amir. Very first god I ever played in Conquest. I love Amir. He's a lot of fun. And Amir is very good. He does a lot of damage early for a support. He has a wall, which is just amazing in the jungle. But you also have to be careful with the wall, because that's kind of what makes or breaks Amir. You can either help your team out and get kills with the wall, or you can completely screw your teammates over. You're going to miss out on a kill, or even get your teammates killed because of your wall. It's very hard. It's going to happen to everybody, no matter what. No matter what level you play at, it's just going to happen. That's just how Amir's wall works. So, good luck with that. On that, his 2, I like to call it the ice carpet. It does a lot of damage, and it puts a great slow on them. It's hard. That slow is really good. They can hardly move after they get hit by it, and it does a lot of damage. Your 3 is a freeze. Very powerful freeze. One of the better CCs in the game. It's way up there. It's one of my favorite CCs. It has a wide range on it. Stuns for quite a while. It's very good. And then his ultimate has a very high damaging ability. You have to channel it. You can blow it up early if you want to, if they're about to escape the AoE from it. It's going to deal less damage, of course, but at least you did damage them. But it also applies a slow to them when they're in it. Something else to take note with Amir, his passive is especially good early game, because you're going to deal extra basic attack damage for every enemy that you hit with one of your abilities. It's going to apply a debuff on them, and you're going to deal extra magic damage to them with your basic attack. It's very powerful, especially early game. It's very good. Ymir is very good. He's just not very mobile. That's his weakness. He doesn't have the best objective steal, but he's still very good. Now, as far as Guardians go, the 3 best supports right now are Athena, Geb, and Sylvanas. Those three, I don't see any time soon that changing. But all the other ones, they have a spot. They're all good for certain situations, but Athena, Geb, and Sylvanas are going to be your main go-tos if you just absolutely need to win a game. Now, switching over from Guardians to Warriors, there's a couple Warriors that could play support. Bellona has been played support a very tiny bit. I would not suggest it. She's much better in jungle or solo. But she brings a lot to the table though. She's very versatile. She could be hard to kill because of her shield, because she gets block stacks. Her 2 is a nice AoE. She has pretty good wave clear because of it. Her 3 can disarm. Her ultimate's just amazing. But I would not suggest playing Bellona support. It's just not as good as what you could be doing with her or as a support in general. I've also seen some Chalk support, which I also do not suggest. He's not very good support. He's not that great right now in the meta. Mainly, the only reason you really pick Chalk right now is if you want to win the lane. He doesn't bring that much to the table late game, except for a silence on his ultimate. He's just not that great, and that saddens me because I really love Chalk, but you can still make him work. He's just not very good at support. If you want to play a support warrior though, Guan Yu's going to be your best bet. He's very good support. He's got a nice heal. His 2's a slow, that's also a small dash. And his 3 is one of my favorite abilities in the game. It just does an insane amount of damage and has a unique ability of shredding the enemy's protections. So the more you hit them with it, the less protections they're going to have for a little while. It's very powerful. You can easily kill someone with it early game, especially. And then you have your ultimate. It helps you escape. It has a stun on it, and it's also the highest damaging physical ability in the game. Slight trick with it though, when you jump on the horse with your ultimate, it can be hard to control because the horse moves really fast, but if you pull back on the left stick, it's going to slow the horse down. It will make it easier to turn. It took me a while to figure that out, but just thought I'd pass it on. Hercules is another one that can be played support. The main benefits with Hercules, he can be played pretty aggressively. He can really set up a kill early, especially if you're somewhat close to your tower. Because he can knock them up in the air and pull them back to you, and then he can use his driving strike and push them even farther back, especially under tower. It also put a stun on them. They're getting hit by the tower early game. They're probably gonna die. No one takes tower hits very well early. Other than that, his ultimate does a pretty good bit of damage, as in a lot of damage. And the main thing with Hercules, everybody knows Hercules for one ability. That's his 3. At least that's the first thing when I think of Hercules. I think of his healing from his 3. It's very powerful. It makes Hercules very difficult to kill unless you have some anti-healing. So if you're building tank on him and you get that crazy healing and you put a stun guy on him, oh my god, he's so hard to kill. Other than that, he's pretty good. He's been played in pro games as support. He's kind of fallen out some, and probably a little bit overrated. He's probably not as good as everybody thinks he is, but he's still very powerful. He can still work for you in support. I approve of Hercules. Now Odin, he used to be played as a lot as a support when he first got reworked. He is very good because he does a lot of damage early. He's very aggressive. His bird bomb is just stupid insane early, and it still is. But people realize that he's not very good support. He's much better at jungling or even playing solo. But his 1 is a jump. His 2 is the shield, which, I mean, that sounds great for a support, but most of the time you don't use it as shield because you're going to activate and then jump on someone, because when you jump with the shield up, the shield's going to explode. And it does a crazy amount of damage, especially early game. He falls off really bad late game, which is why he's not played as support anymore, really. But he's very underrated, just not as a support. The only thing he has going for him really with the support is his 3, which is a slow. It's a very good slow, I think. Just doesn't do a lot of damage. And his ultimate, the rings, It stops all healing done by the enemies in there. If they don't have a jump, they're not going to escape. It's just very powerful. It's very easy to combo it with other people. You can even save your teammates with it because now your teammates can pass through the rings. It's a very powerful ability. I like Odin. I think he's underrated just now as a support. Osiris, don't even think about playing support. Sun Wukong, he's a god I love, but at the same time, right now, it's kind of like, why would I play Sun Wukong? I love playing Sun Wukong, but he doesn't bring that much to the table that other gods can't. I mean, he has good peel, but there's much better gods that have good peel, like the Guardians. He's very difficult to kill, but so is Hercules and most of the Guardians. Basically, that's the one thing he has going for him, though. Sun Wukong can basically do whatever he wants, and he has plenty of ways to get out of it without dying. He's very hard to kill. He's very hard to lock down. He has decent peel. He has a stun. His ultimate's very good for diving towers. He can be played support. He's not the worst thing at support, but there's just better choices you can make. Tier, just don't play tier support. Just don't do it. Brahmana, once again, do not play Brahmana support. Just don't. As far as these guys go for the damage items, since the 2 damage items I showed were for magic, you can either build Jotans for the extra. You can either build Jotans for the extra cooldown reduction, maybe Tine's Bane for the penetration. Void Shield's not bad if you have a lot of physical on your team. Runeforge Hammer is also another good damaging plus protection item. You got a couple options. Yeah, that's about all I can really think of for that. Then we're gonna go up to assassins. There's 2 more we gotta talk about. One of them is Nyjah. Now, Nyjah support used to be kind of a thing. It's not really anymore, but I've played it a couple times still. It still works. It's not the best, but it's very unexpected, and it can surprise a lot of people. And you can still get a lot of kills with them early. And he still has some decent support capabilities, especially with this 1 and his 3. His universal ring toss will slow, and it does a deceptively large amount of damage, especially if it's just 2 of them stand by each other. It's going to hit him for a lot, because it's just going to keep bouncing between them. Your 3-ish, your sash will stun them. It'll also just slow them down so your teammates can catch up with them along with the stun. It doesn't actually put a slow on them, but, you know, helps your team catch up with them since you're stunning them. And it has a long range on it. You have your ulti, which knocks them up in the air for... You stay up in the air for a little while. So you can just go, you know, all Dragon Ball Z on them up there. But helps your team be able to catch up with you. Set up to kill them when they land back down if you don't kill them. Because a lot of times you're probably going to kill them early game. Because Nyjah just does. Nyjah's ultimate early game is just an insane amount of damage. Do not get any points in your steroid until you got everything maxed out, and you just absolutely have to take it. I would suggest building Stone of Gaia on Nyjah because it works great with your passive, which gives you extra health regeneration for every basic attack. So after you hit 50 basic attacks, you'll be maxed on your stacks, and you'll have a lot of extra health regeneration, especially with Stone of Gaia. And also for the damaging item for Nyjah, if you want to build one, I suggest Deathbringer because it works with your ultimate very well. Then lastly, the very last support we're gonna go over is Fenrir. As some of you might know, Fenrir is my favorite god in the game. I love Fenrir. He's a lot of fun, and he's actually a pretty good support, I would have to say. I mean, at level 2, you can easily kill someone at level 2. You want to max out your 1, your 3, you want to max out your jump. Your jump is very good, does a lot of damage. Stuns them when you get your runes maxed out. and it has the cooldown on your jump when you hit an enemy god with it. And then you also want to grab Brutalize. Brutalize is super powerful early game. You want to spend time maxing out both of them. They both do a crazy amount of damage early game. Very good. Your ultimate could just set up kills like crazy. It can also help you escape. It's very hard to kill Fenrir when he's in his giant wolf form. Fenrir's very good. Once again, just like Nyjah and Ares and stuff, do not get your 2. Do not get your 2 until you have absolutely no choice but to take it. And for Fenrir, you can get some of those other items I suggested on warriors. You can also maybe get chin size. Chin size is pretty good if the only damaging item you're going to get is chin size. It has some other uses, of course, like on Kali and stuff, but that's a whole different video. But yeah, Fenrir, very good support. Another thing I've seen people doing on here lately that you do not need to do it. If you do it, I'm going to be very sad, and you're not going to make any friends on your team if you do this. Do not play heal support. She cannot support. It's very bad. Do not play heal support. Aphrodite support. Don't do it. It's not good. Trust me, it's not good. Don't do it. I have also seen raw support. Really, do not do this. It's not good. Your teammates are going to really hate you. And that's going to about do it. Some more general tips. You're going to stay in lane with your Hunter and Conquest until about the 2.5 to 2 minute 45 second mark. Then you're going to rotate to mid. You're going to try to get mid harpies if you're mid or jungler, or even both. You're going to chill out mid for a little bit. You know, try to soak up some farm there. Cool guy. Have a little party there in mid. Maybe even try to get a kill or 2. Go back to base. Get your wards for your Hunter. And try to finish your boots. Get your Hog 3 up. Try to get it out before the 9 minute mark. And then try to focus on getting Hand the Gods. You need to communicate with your team as much as you can. You need to keep rotating between mid and dual lane, and try to help your jungler out whenever he's going to take buffs. That's going to about do it. If I forgot anything, just let me know down in the comments section. I hope this helps some. And I'll talk to you guys later. Enjoy your day and have fun.